All righty. Thanks everybody for joining us today. This is our very first Trivera Tip Tuesday, and I am joined today by Cassie Richardson. Can you say hi, Cassie?
Hey guys, I'm Cassie Richardson. I'm the search marketing director here at Trivera.
And
I
I
work, oh,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to say my job really revolves around keeping up to date with everything related to search.
Perfect. And I'm Christina Stetter. I'm the EVP here at Trivera, and we are doing our very first live broadcast of a topic that we think is super important, which is what local businesses can do to control their online presence in the face of COVID-19. Like most of you, Cassie and I are experiencing some technological challenges. We've done some rehearsals of this. Occasionally, both of our connections freeze up. So we will do the best we can with what we've got today. And I'm sure you're all experiencing the same thing, so we hope you understand. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we want to talk about is how businesses can take advantage of their Google My Business listing. This is the most important thing you can do. So Cassie, can you explain to everybody what is a Google My Business listing in case people don't know what that is?
Definitely. A Google My Business listing is a free listing tool provided by Google. It allows businesses to create a business profile and then manage your presence across Google search and Google Maps. So it really started off as something that was specifically for a local business or a brick and mortar business, but has really evolved into something that's crucial for every brand.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Cassie. I mean, we're seeing this in lots of reports. Anytime somebody does what we would call a branded search, which just means they type the name of your business into the search bar, your Google My Business listing comes up. So we are seeing Google My Business listings drive traffic to websites, not just locally, but nationally.
Definitely, definitely. And if you haven't heard of Google My Business listings before, that doesn't mean that you haven't interacted with one before. Additionally, if you might not have set one up for your business or claimed it, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't already have one. So I'll actually just really quickly show you guys 3 different places that Google My Business listings can show up, just so you can get a good feel for how important it is. So let me just share the screen really quick. All right. So the first example is business listings showing up in Google Maps. And what's really critical here is obviously it's showing up when you use Google Maps online on your device, like a desktop, but it's also where listings show up in the Google Maps app. Here is another example. This is really prominent right now since everybody is searching for things near them. But anytime that somebody were to enter in a search where they're looking for a business that's close to them, they might type in digital agency Milwaukee. You see what's called the local pack, which is right here. It's a map, and then you have 3 to 4 business listings that show up. The only way for you to get featured here is if you have a Google My Business listing. And the information that's displayed here is actually taken directly from that listing. So super prominent. And then the third example is kind of what Christina was just talking about. So it's not just for local SEO anymore, it's for every business. So here is a branded search result for Bacchus, a Bartolotta restaurant. On this right-hand side is what we call the knowledge panel. It's where Google really summarizes everything they know about the business. And the majority of this information is actually pulled from the Google My Business listing.
And then I think, Cassie, we also want to make sure that we let people know that Google just changed their policies about business names. So it used to be you had to actually name your business what it was named because, duh, that's what you would want. But now Google has changed it and is allowing you to add some additional information into the name of your business to really communicate quickly about whether you're open or closed or something like that. I think you've got an example of that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's an example of what Christina was just talking about. Right now, we, as well as Google, knows that it's a really critical time to get accurate information listed and for people to find out what they're looking for really, really quickly. Changing your business name to not be exactly what you're called is really a spammy technique that Google would penalize you for. but right now they're actually allowing businesses to update their listing name to reflect something that's really vital for the public to know. So here's an example, BMO Harris Bank. Here are all of the listings that would show up. Typically, Google would want it to just say BMO Harris Bank, but right now they know that this is really important for the public to be aware of, that they're only open as a drive-through right now. Other examples, of course, would be, adding takeout available or curbside service available, if that's applicable to your business. This is definitely something that Google's recommending currently, just to make sure that they're pushing out as much accurate information as they can. Along with updating, your listing entirely and making sure it's claimed, you also want to make sure that you're updating your business hours. Regardless of if they've changed, you want that information to reflect extremely accurately. I'll show you one other example here. So when you have claimed your listing and you log in, you'll see a screen like this, and here's where you can make all of the edits about your business. It's really, really critical right now that you reflect accurate hours, whether they're special or your hours have not changed. You want to make sure that information is up to date. Lastly, Google's also recommending that you update your business description right now. It's a great way for you to not just summarize your business, but to really highlight how your business operations may have changed throughout this pandemic. And that can be done in the same place.
And I think another thing before we leave your screen, Cassie, that we should make sure we show everybody is if you could scroll up a little bit, Cass. One thing that everybody can do is they can post to their Google My Business. So you'll see over on the left-hand side, it says posts, and you can make a post to your Google My Business panel similar to the way you would make a social post. And I can actually show you what one of those might look like. So now I'm going to share one of my screens so you can see that. Let me find the right screen. Where on earth is that?
And while she's doing that, I just want to mention one thing that's really critical to be aware of. So Google knows that everybody is trying to update their information as best as they can. And there's always this approval process that people have to go through. When you make an edit, Google has to approve it. And right now, Google's actually prioritizing health service companies or maybe an essential business if you're in a state that has been shut down. So just be aware that if you don't fall under that category, your edits might take longer to be approved. So that's why posting, as well as some other stuff that we're going to talk about, is really critical right now if you're waiting for that stuff to be approved.
Great tip, Cassie. All right, sorry for the technology here. I promised there would be some glitches, and of course there are. So this is the Google My Business listing for a company called Hairsite Protective Coatings. One thing I should note is all of the information we're going to show you are Trivera clients. So these are companies that we're familiar with. We're not using brand names for people that we don't know. So this listing, you'll see it shows photos, it's got the website, the directions, and then down here at the bottom is where you can post to the Google My Business listing. So right now they're running a price reduction on a new product, and you can see that there. One thing you should know is posts only stay up on your Google My Business panel for 7 days. So you do need to keep going in and updating the posts. You can see old posts. If you look here, it says view all. These are the older posts that we posted in the past, but you will have to go in and do this every week. So maybe you set it up every Monday, you go in and post something new. But that is something that you will definitely want to do as you move forward through this time. Another thing. Oh, go ahead, Cassie.
One other thing to mention, just as it relates to Google My Business, is you want to pay attention to the critical stuff, since that information is really important to get out there to the public. Because Google is working overtime to make these recommendations and to approve these edits, they have temporarily disabled reviews through your Google My Business listing and question and answer. So just be aware of that, especially if that's something that you're encouraging right now. Just note that right now isn't the time to push to get reviews. Right now, it's really important to have accurate information that's reflected.
Perfect, perfect, yes. Also, don't forget about Bing. Yelp, TripAdvisor, all of those places that you might have information. Make sure you're updating all of that. And then, of course, your social pages. And when you're updating your social pages, remember that branded posts tend to not be seen. All of the algorithms are like this. Doesn't matter what channel you're on. Branded posts tend to not be seen as much as personal posts. So if you can, if you're in a business where your employees are involved, make sure that they are posting to their pages as well. And so I want to show you this really cool feature that LinkedIn has that allows you to notify your employees when you have a social post. Let me share my screen again. This time I was smart and I loaded up the screen in advance. So this is Trivera's LinkedIn page. And if I scroll down right here, you can see here's a post about our webinar that we did last week, which if you didn't check it out, you should do that because we were talking about writing and marketing your content for SEO. But right here, there's 3 dots. If you click on that, it will say notify employees of posts. Now, one thing you should know is it seems to notify everybody who's ever worked at your company, because when I click on this, the number of employees that it says it could notify up to X number of employees, that number is larger than the number of people who currently work at Trivera. So I think it does notify X employees as well. However, with an update, as long as they're pertinent and you're not really spamming people, I think it's fine. You are limited to doing this once a week though. So make sure that you take advantage of this in the right way and that you're not sharing things that you don't necessarily want people to spread. Be judicious about using that. The other thing we also obviously want to make sure that we let people know is that they should update their websites. That's really, really important. And so I do want to show you another Trivera client who is doing an absolutely fantastic job of this. Okay, so this is Dursey, and they are an event marketing company. They do live events, and they do exhibits, and they do interactive spaces in corporate offices. And so right in here, you can see on the very top, right underneath their menu, they have a COVID-19 update. And if you click on that, it will take you to a page where they have everything that you could possibly want to know. And they really, this is the bar for what you should be doing. So they have information about what's going on around all of their offices. They have an official statement from their CEO, and they have FAQs, which are really, really important right now. I think, Cassie, there's some information that you could probably share about how Google is looking at FAQs, and then Schema is also available for this, correct?
Yeah, definitely. And this is a really solid example too. And if you don't have something as a business that's that complete, you know, a lot of businesses have sent out email newsletters just to update how their policy might have changed or what they're doing to safeguard their employees' health. So we definitely would encourage you to at least have that content on your site. But yeah, as Christina mentioned, FAQs are really, really beneficial. Not only just it's an easy format to get out and address very common questions, but FAQ content is typically something that Google likes to preview in the search results themselves.
And that would be like people also ask kind of stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Search is much more conversational than it used to be. And so when you have that type of content on your site, it's definitely encouraged because you have a better chance of having more visibility in the search results themselves. And Christina mentioned something called Schema too. So just taking that Dursey example, structured data is a way to mark up content on your website. It allows Google and other search engines to better understand it. And related to this pandemic, there's actually been new structured data that's rolled out specifically for the types of announcements that Dursey made on their website. It's also really great for event information. So right now, as everybody or many people are remote, you might have seen events be canceled or postponed or turn virtual, like what we're doing now. There's Schema that will help communicate that information to Google.
No. Oh, sorry, Cassie, you froze up.
And to your searchers.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with Schema, what it is it's markup language that you will need a developer to help you with this. It goes on the back end of your website. So it helps Google understand the meaning of what's on the text. So it goes beyond keywords. It actually directly says to Google, this page is about an event, and this is what the event is. And so it helps Google know how and when to serve up this content to people, more than just looking for the word COVID on the page. All right, so those are our quick tips for today. We're so glad you joined us. Cassie, do you have anything else you want to say, or do you just want to say goodbye?
I think just right now it's important to note that accuracy is critical. We know it's a confusing time, and we definitely want to help you get out the right message as quickly as possible to your users.
Perfect. All right, so we hope you'll join us again. We're going to do this every Tuesday. Next week, we will be talking about how to adapt your communications plan when the world is changing around you. We're going to have some fun examples that we can show you of that. And we look forward to talking to you next week as well. All righty. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.